A new voting law is being dubbed the new Jim Crow. It's caused a media frenzy and actually resulted in the arrest of a state representative. But anti-voter legislation is nothing new in the state of Georgia. Joining me to talk about this is investigative journalist Greg Palast, who's been tracking voter suppression efforts for 20 years. And that's a fact, Greg. I remember interviewing you about 20 years ago for the first time when you started uncovering all this. You might remember with Air America. And it just never stops, does it? First things first. Greg, tell us about the significance of this new Georgia law and how it impacts voters. Take us there.
Well, first of all, let's begin with the fact that Georgia's always been running Jim Crow elections. It's one of the worst states, and I've been investigating there for 8 years, originally for Rolling Stone and Salon and The Guardian, and now I'm working with Black Voters Matter Fund. And so it's an old story. Now it's just getting much worse. They panicked because despite everything that they tried, they couldn't stop Biden, Ossoff, and Warnock from winning Georgia because it is a blue state, as Martin Luther King III told me 8 years ago when I began working there and investigating. He says, you just have to let us vote. Let the people vote. It's a minority, and it's a white minority state right now. And so what they have to do something simple. Eliminate black voters. This new law takes it a new step, a new horrific step down backwards into the Jim Crow darkness.
Okay, how did they do that? We keep hearing that line, this is awful, this is awful. What? Tell us, what are they doing? Lay out the first specifics about it. What are they doing?
Okay. I mean, everyone's heard, I broke a story that part of the law is that if you give someone a slice of pizza or a bottle of water, which I witnessed this criminal activity by the Papa John's pizza pushing gang in Georgia, it is a felony crime. I kid you not, to hand someone a slice of pizza in a line. Now, understand, this is Georgia, where it's often pouring rain or humid, horrid conditions. Why are the lines 3, 4, 6 hours long? For example, in Cobb County, they closed 6 of the 11 early voting stations, all 6 in African-American neighborhoods. So, of course, people then bunch up into the white districts that are left open for voting. The new law reduces the number of hours for early voting. This will make the election day lines longer. It also severely cuts back on drop boxes because, you know, the Postal Service has been a nightmare. So people trying to mail in their ballots, mail them in, you just put them in a drop box, which are, by the way, watched 24/7 by cameras. They're highly secure. No one's ever said that there's an illegal vote put in those boxes. But now they've made it 2 things. They've reduced the number of boxes by about 2/3 in the big cities, that is, which means voters of color, the color being blue, by the way. They've reduced the number of drop boxes. They reduced the number of early voting hours, again crushing the lines. And even more horrendous, they have now said that any voter, and this has been unnoticed so far, Mike, any voter may challenge an unlimited number of other voters challenging their right to vote on whatever specious grounds they come up with. And this is not theoretical. In the 2020 election and then especially in the 2021 runoff for the U.S. Senate, a group called True the Vote, a Tea Party spinoff, True the Vote, challenged, are you ready for this? 364,000 voters. They challenged 364,000 voters' right to vote.
Okay, so in the time we got left, tell the viewers what that means. Do they stop them in line and say you can't? Tell us how this works and how it chills the process, if you would.
Well, what they did was they came up with this cockamamie list. And, you know, it used to be you could challenge a voter, but you had to know the voter. Say, oh, that guy doesn't live here anymore. Or, you know, he was convicted of a felony or something. They removed that restriction. See, the 346,000 challenges didn't go through. But now the new law will permit it because you don't have to know the voter. You just have to say, oh, we see that Jose Garcia, according to the post office, a Jose Garcia moved out of Georgia. Well, Jose Garcia is actually a common name, but not for Republicans. So this is a type of challenge that they're mounting. We're talking about 1/3 voters. We expect them to challenge. The Republican Party has joined in with True the Vote on these challenges, and the challenges are now welcomed by the Secretary of State of Georgia, Brad Raffensperger.
What has been the result of that? If they challenged 360,000 voters, how many of them actually were not permitted to place a vote? Do you have a number on
virtually
that?
Virtually every challenge was thrown out. That's why they just changed the law. So we don't know what's going to, under the new law, you can expect 1/3 voters are going to face the chop. And we saw the effect of this. 340,000 voters were illegally removed just before the 2018 election, in which Stacey Abrams supposedly lost to Brian Kemp. This will reactivate that Jim Crow ethnic cleansing of the voter rolls. Very serious stuff.
Okay. You know, yeah, State Representative, to tell you how ugly it gets, State Representative Park Cannon, well, he was actually handcuffed right in front, right outside the governor's mansion. Tell us about that a little bit. What happened there?
Well,
Park Cannon.
That's the second
handcuffed.
time. What he's trying to do is the governor was holding a signing of the bill, which is usually, it's a public event by law and tradition. They locked the door to the governor's office and only allowed 7 white guys to witness the signing of the bill. I kid you not. So an African American said, I want to be there when this Jim Crow thing is penned. And they literally busted him. But understand, this is the second bust. We have on camera from 2 years ago, Nikema Williams, who is now Congresswoman Williams. There were protests against the theft of the election in 2018. In the Capitol, which was a legal demonstration, legal petitioning. And the cops started arresting people. So Nikema, the representative for in the House, in the Georgia House, came down and said, look, these people are just trying to present a petition to me. And they arrested her. She's now in Congress. So this is Georgia. It's a contact sport, believe me. This is old stuff.
Greg,
this has been happening again and again.
We appreciate that you're out there. Thank you for following this story. We'll follow it more with you as it develops. Thank you for joining me, Greg. Okay.
You're the best.